Got asked recently what a success means to me. And for me, it was always, and it always will be, it's so much about how many people's lives did I've changed. And doesn't matter if it's in my business, what I'm running for 10 years as a full-time, when I divorced the kid's dad, and doing it by myself. And I always talk about it so transparently because I want you to know how I did it. No family, no co-parenting, no ex saying, if the kids are sick, I'll help you or anything like that. Just done it by myself, adjusting my schedule to be able to do it, to do work, to do clients, to do children, drive them up and all of that stuff. But success to me is not how many followers do I have got. It's how many people's lives did I changed or transformed. How many people did came and see me and they said, you're my last hope, if it was a medical, even if it was in identity and relationships, self-doubt, not feeling good enough, they're abandoning themselves. How many people couldn't even set the boundaries because they didn't know how to. They didn't even know. Back then, there was not so much of social media and knowledge, and it was really challenging for people to do it. So maybe you're watching it now and you're going like, how people didn't know. They didn't know. 20 years ago, they didn't know. When I spoke about the spirit and, things when I was even in the surgeries before, it was very challenging for people to understand because their mind was like, what is she talking about? Dark shadow feminine and all of those things. So for me, what is success is when people come and see me and they have got, a self-doubt, and we work through it, and they are able to resign from the job or maybe move away in a way of physically and emotionally, parents or the mothers, if we're going to say that, because majority of my clients are mothers, females, saying when they change the pattern within themselves, they're not giving a wounded pattern, which they were not aware of, that to their children then. So this is where, for me, how many lives did I changed? Channeled messages, spiritual messages, energy messages, identity, working through it, and their life as byproduct, not just improved but transformed. And therefore, like the program from Rewrite the Story, Becoming Her, and from Limited to Limitless. And limitless is about freedom within yourself, being limitless, not in a physical form, but in a mental form. Because when you're in a mental form, feeling free and not being bound by the diagnosis, not being bound by, I was born in this kind of family, for example, or you're a single mother, so you have to struggle, and you break that limits, and you can call it limitations, limited beliefs, you can call it blind spots, you can name it whatever you want to, but the point is coming into being limitless. And that is just how I channel my programs. They all come up like that with a certain names, because there is absolutely meaning, but the meaning is mine because I channeled that. So for me, that is the success. For me, that is when I see transformations, when organizations get me to work with them to help the staff to not just sell because they're so afraid of selling, even though they're in a selling business, but coming to a job and working in a job that it's fulfilling, that actually have got courage to say, I want to change job, I want to change completely my career. That is the success. They did it. Not just because I told them this is what's happening in your future, but I actually worked through identity and everything what it told them in their mind that is not possible. So when I tell you things about my time when I started, and I do say it was going through divorce, that you understand what I was going through. And it wasn't a divorce where it was equal and fair or anything like that. It wasn't. It was absolutely nothing like it. So when I say that I was getting $50 a week for children, 2 children, for the child support in Australia, it was nothing, absolutely nothing. And I had 2 jobs to be able to do things for the children. What did I left as a legacy within them? Showing them courage and bravery, and against all the odds, as my video talks about, against all the odds, the meditation, if you didn't listen to it. I'm doing it every single day. And with life giving you the curveballs, not giving up, not going like, oh my goodness, that's it. It's always about being limitless from within. Showing you that light. And when I talk about the lighthouse, from what conversations I had with my grandpa and what he was teaching me, it's all about coming from the soulful connection and the life journey, what I lived through. And that's how the codes came within me to be able to pass them or activate them in some of you. So this is for me the legacy. It's not how many followers do I have got or how many people do I've got on YouTube. I want to have every single video or the post or the message to go to the person who actually needs to hear it, and that it's going to be inspirational, absolutely inspirational, that you can say like, okay, this makes no sense or it makes some sense, but let me hear it out. And that is to me the success. When I see the children, and I have children where, as a client, yeah, where the mothers were coming and the kids were little. And I remember a few years ago, one client, she sent me a message and she said, you said something about my son when he was a toddler. And I prepared her for what she needs to do within herself when he does expresses that he wants to play certain instrument. Because I knew the reaction of the family, how it's going to be, because I could see that. And I said, this is what the spirit and this is what your loved ones are saying to me. Prepare yourself for it. Nurture this. This child loves this. And she's like, my husband just wants him to do, soccer. And I'm like, I know, but he's not that kind of a boy for that. He's going to be doing the musical instrument. And I said, which one? And it wasn't about predicting future. For me, it was to help the parents to nurture this child, for the child to do things what he loves to do and what he's meant to be doing. Not that a parent goes like, I don't want you to play this, or I don't want you to do this is not good for you. And then that child will have guaranteed a middle life crisis when they're 40, because they were completely doing things to satisfy a parent. But on the end of it, they were shutting down every single energy point in their body. So for me, there is that part of my work, or in the medical intuition work, which I absolutely love, and when you can see it, and I talk about this so often, when physically you can see like tremors slowing down or completely disappearing, by the time they're shaking in the beginning, and then end of the session I look at their arms and it's like not shaking, and I physically don't touch the person ever. I don't have to. So for me, that is the success or the legacy, if you want to call it like that, to give this to the world, see what I see, and giving that to you is how to rise above your pain, because life happened to all of us and it could not happen any other way. Like, there is no magical wand that you can say abracadabra and let's go change it. I always say this, and as somebody who's energy healer, I say this, and I said, did we sign up for it? Did we not? Whatever explanations you want to use, that is to cover up your pain of what happened, not at the event, but afterwards. Because then friends, family come in and they give you their 5 cents of wisdom or no wisdom, or they agree with your pain because they just don't want to see you in a pain. But that happened, and we are imprisoned from not event, from post-event discussions about it. Yeah, and I know that life happened to every one of us. Nobody didn't have a blissful life. I didn't choose to be studying nursing during the wartime and to see what I've seen. What I say is no child should see on the age of 18 or ever in their life. And I know other people who've seen all sorts of things too. And I'm sure you did too. So, but it's not about, and I will say this, it's not about letting go of the event. It's that pain moving forward. Yeah, it's that pain moving forward to let go of it. If you're looking for justice, let's go say, I'll give you an example is, let's go say divorce, and the other parent, doesn't matter, the other parent doesn't help, doesn't participate, hides the income, doesn't do anything. And you're going to be angry because it's injustice. And I know it is. But what they are trying to do, they're trying to confine you and being scared of, let's go say, money, economics, all of that. But what if you become free of that? What if you become that money comes in? What if you have got a support from right people? And I know in the time it's very painful, but what if you become everything of that, what they're trying to put on you? What if the identity of a single mother, you can change into identity of successful mother? And to me, successful, it's not so much about the money. It's about being present parent for your children. I could have done so many other things, but I could not do it because I had children to pick them up from school, take them to the sport. There was no one else except me. So could I work so many hours in a day? No. But I wanted to be a present mother. Because on the end of the day, if I'm successful in business and my children are not even talking to me, that would be detrimental to me. But that was my choice, what I chose to be a present mother. So when my children, anytime they need something, they would always call me, not their father. But they do it because they know he's not going to be helping them. They know it because he showed them that physically and emotionally. So this is where I decided what is going to be my legacy on it. And showing my children, that's the first thing, showing my children before work. It was always about my children because I had children. And maybe you don't have the children, and that's okay. Maybe we're working on having children. But the point what I want to say to you is this is, what is the legacy? What is the legacy of it that we are creating? And one day it will be inevitable that we're going to be leaving behind. It's when my son creates the music and every single of those pieces, or Lara creates the artwork, there is a story inside of it, which somebody can interpret it one way and somebody can interpret it the other way around, based on who they are. And so today I want you to ask yourself is, what is success to you? Or what is the legacy for you? And you don't have to think about the world, just think about yourself. And that is your absolutely invitation for it. Don't focus on external. Focus on yourself. Because on the end of the day, if you go at bedtime and lie down and you say, I've done the best I could today, that's all what it matters. We can't be perfect, and with that I want to say to you, it means that some days you're going to cry and some days you're going to be upset and angry, and that is okay. That is normal, as long as we are not mirroring that or giving that to the world. They're our emotions. We need to deal with them, and deal with them with you, nature, paper, sessions, therapy. not with the friends, because with friends are you recycling the story, except their occupation is a therapist, coach, psychologist, healer, whatever that is. Yeah. And I want to say this, I always believe in this, and that's why I always say love and light. I talk about love because it's that love within yourself. Light is a memory, a remembrance for me, for my grandpa. Has nothing to do with the spiritual part, but it's so much about my grandpa, because he was a pivotal point in my life and in my journey of my spiritual life.